everyone, and welcome back to Making Your Ideas. This time we have a suggestion from CoopNCode, who says, I have a suggestion, an erupting volcano with a small cottage on top of it. And that is exactly what we're going to build. Remember to leave your suggestions for what you want me to build in the comments of this video, and whichever comment gets the most likes will be built in this world next. And with that, let's get to it. Alright, well, when building a volcano with a cottage on top of it, I think it's pretty important that you start with a volcano, because you can't really build a cottage on top of anything without a base beneath it. And I'm going to use my favorite tool for this, World Edit. Oh yes. And while building this, I actually discovered a new brush that I didn't know about before, the gravity brush. You can, like, bring blocks down to the ground with it. I didn't know it existed. It's pretty cool, and it saved me some time here when making this. I wanted to go for a kind of wider base with a narrower top, like a cone, which is what I terraformed it into there. Yeah, I didn't really want that cut to be there that dramatically, but I don't know what happened. I guess I pressed the button and deleted the footage, so on accident. I guess that happens. But anyway, lava's going in. There was really no reason for me to put lava in the volcano itself. I mean, I could have made some, like, spilling out of the side, which would have looked kind of interesting. I didn't end up doing that, so lava's just kind of there. At this point, I'm looking up images of other volcanoes that exist, and trying to get the right world edit brush for what I want to do. You see, what I wanted was a brush that would replace the blocks in that area. And I eventually found one. I just have to set a mask, which I knew, but I guess I didn't think about it. So that was kind of interesting, but it didn't work the way that I wanted it to, and it was a whole thing. So I didn't end up actually using that. I just placed the blocks in by hand manually because it was just easier. Which is odd because usually it isn't. Maybe if I had built the mountain better, it wouldn't have been easier. Like if I had started with a strong foundation, it wouldn't have been easier to do it by hand, but in this case it was because I didn't do that. So I I like the black streaks just because it's like it's been burned or something. I just think it looks cool. So I did that around the top. And what I started with was a little bit too skinny, or not thick down, didn't go down enough. So I added a couple more blocks onto the ends of it, made some like splits in them just for that nice effect. And it looked pretty good. So I'm using a lot of, I'm getting inspiration from various volcanoes built, but mostly the one built by Good Times with Scar in his Season 6 of Hermitcraft. And that's a good volcano. My volcano is close to that. Not exactly that, but that's, whatever. I don't really care. It looks good. It looks good for what I need it to be. Like, I'm fine with, I think it looks great, actually. I really like it, the finished product anyway. So, I got my lava in there, got my nice black streaks, and now it's time to plan out the lava eruption itself. And this was the most interesting part. I don't know if it was really the hardest part, because that was probably shaping the volcano itself to the way I wanted it, but it was certainly the most interesting, because I had to try to figure out how it was going to work, and it was just very strange. Like, I started with this, big thing. I'm looking up some images of, like, actual volcano eruptions, and a lot of them wouldn't really support a cottage being on top of it, which is really what we're all about here. So, I had to make, like, instead of, like, a smoke cloud, because that's what they usually are, it's just, like, a big smoke cloud, I had to go and make a, like, lava pillar eruption, which is very interesting as a concept, because if it actually happened, it would be very bad. It would never go this high, as far as I know. Based on the images I saw, it would never go this high and spray as much as this did. So it's not realistic to real life. But then again, there is a cottage floating on top of it, so it's not really that realistic to begin with. So what I did here, this is actually pretty cool. I made a cylinder of red and orange wool and red and orange stained glass and air. And I started with like 25% air, and the further I went up, I made it like 50% air. So it kind of looked like it was dense at the bottom and it opened up as you went along to the top. And it looks really good. I really like the effect that it created. I think it's very nice. So here, I'm using brushes, World Edit brushes, to create the blocks themselves, so I don't have to try and randomize various blocks in air, which would be awful. So I'm building these rings to be like where I'm going to put the blocks themselves, like with the brush, just so I have like a nice place for it, and then I can just brush around. I was trying to go for like a thing in the middle that like opens up, like an umbrella almost. Trying to do that sort of thing. So I have like an inner ring on top, an outer ring, and then there's just a bunch that's kind of like connecting them, like a slope. I didn't build a circle for the slope, which probably would have saved me some time, so I ended up using the /up command to place a block directly beneath me. And at this point, I, placed missed a brush stroke, and knocked some lava down. So that's flowing. Fun times. So I use that like brush stroke or the up command to get a block in the air so that I could hit it with a brush to get what I wanted. And now it's time for the cottage. This is the most simple part of the build. It's just a house. I tried to do some interesting things with it. Made it out of oak wood. Walls are stripped oak and regular oak wood, and that looks kind of nice. It's a nice color combination there. Roof made out of stone brick and spruce wood. Floor made out of cobblestone. Pretty simple design here, nothing too crazy complicated. It's nice and easy for a cottage, and that's what it needed to be. It's a simple thing. It's just going directly on top of the volcano. I just didn't want to build it on the volcano because it would just be kind of weird. Wanted to get dimensions and stuff right, and that's a lot easier to do on solid ground. So there's that. Roof is going in, nice spruce slab roof. Nice and simple, nothing crazy about it, just a house really. Tried to do some interesting detailing with the roof overlay, and it looked kind of good. I like it. I like the way it looks. I think it looks pretty good. So, doing that, nice view of it from a bit closer up, adding in a little more detail with the stone brick walls on top of that central roof block. And for last minute modifications, messing up the roof a bit just because it looks nice. Adding in some windows around the outside and putting in a cobblestone floor. Just so, because if I didn't put in a floor, it would look really weird on top of the volcano. So that's why I did that. I didn't put a floor all the way around the outside. And I didn't want to until I put it in there and it looked really weird. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm copying the cottage over right now. And I paste it in, I believe. And there you can see it. And you see how it just looks like it's kind of floating until I added that extra barrier? Alright, and now we get some nice beauty shots of the volcano. This looks way better with shaders, as is true for everything, I mean, but like, the way the glass is just kind of like barely there really makes it seem like it's like actually splashing, which is really cool. I really like the way that turned out. I think it's very nice. The volcano itself is a little lackluster, I guess. I'm not sure how I would make it better, but shaders helps. Shaders helps a lot. I do really like this though, actually. I think it's pretty cool. Putting an interior in the cottage is something that I could have done, but I don't think it would ever really be like an issue because you're not really ever going to be viewing it from an angle where it would actually matter. So, Yeah, there's that. Alright, this looks pretty good, and it will stay here forever. And with that, I'm going to leave this here. Remember to leave your suggestion in the comments for what you want me to build next, and if it gets the most likes, I will be building it in this world when I am here next time. With that, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, leave a comment any feedback you have for me, and I will see all of you later. Bye.